Hey everybody, how are you? It's Peter again for MLB Trade Rumors and Discussions. We are gonna go back in time today. We are talking about the NFL, of course, right? Since baseball just continues to not give us anything, just a bunch of still uncertainties about what's gonna happen if there is no baseball, what's gonna happen if there is baseball, where we're gonna play. It's just the same thing, a bunch of we're hopeful. So I really don't have much to talk about with baseball right now, guys. So what I do want to talk about is what's coming up very quickly, and what I've been talking about every day is the Arizona Cardinals. And I want to kind of talk about just more about the San Francisco 49ers, but I want to go back in time to last year. Okay, we're going to go all the way, travel back to 1 year ago at the exact same time. Before we do that, I love making these videos because I get a lot of comments. A lot of guys comment to me, and a lot of people talk about thank you. They agree, and then you always get. I make these videos because I love to debate with everybody. It's fun. You always get the other people too, right? That just want to reach through the phone and just grab them because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But that comes with this. So let's go back in time. Last year at this time, I was making a bunch of videos, and I was talking about, maybe a little even way before this actually, that the Arizona Cardinals absolutely need Kyler Murray, right? If we look at the season before that, we remember the Arizona Cardinals having a really, really god awful season. It was just rough. You had a coach who really was defensive minded. He didn't know anything about the football. He wasn't ready to be a head coach. He was more of a defensive coach in Wilkes. And then, we made some horrible signings, right, for a quarterback that didn't need to be there. And then we moved, the year before that, we moved up in the draft to get a quarterback named Josh Rosen, right? This is the year before that, not the year we're going back to. So we couldn't wait to get this guy because in college his accuracy was awesome, and he just fit the billing, and everything was going to be great. He had this cocky attitude, and all these guys were drafted ahead of him, and you'll see the mistakes you're going to make. He was the best quarterback in the draft, in his head. Great. So I was hopeful for him also, and that was Josh Rosen, right? So coming into that year, we watched Josh Rosen play, and he was freaking terrible. There was glimpses of, wow, this guy's pretty damn good. He got some great accuracy. He does have some really good accuracy. But I've watched football a long time. I coached football for a while with kids and stuff like that, and I love the game. I'm a big fantasy player, so I'd watch every single game, and you just know when somebody just doesn't have the ability to be a leader, right? He just didn't have the ability to be a leader, no matter what. He had this face that was just, you wanted to just knock him out because he just was so fucking, I don't know, he just reminded you of Jay Cutler, right? So anyway, couldn't care what the hell he looks like. If the guy can play, he can play, but he couldn't play, and he didn't fit. The coach wasn't fitting for Arizona. It just didn't fit. So that season was just lost, right? The Arizona had first pick in the draft coming right after that, and we were like, all right, great. Who is Arizona going to draft? So when Kyler Murray decided he was going to go to the NFL instead of going to baseball, the rumors were flying. So I got on the internet. I'm just like, you need to draft Kyler Murray, and it's the biggest mistake if you don't. And so I would say maybe 50% of the fans were like, absolutely need to draft him. And then you had the other fans. You don't watch football. You guys have know what the hell you're talking about. What do you want, a 5'9" quarterback at this point? If he plays in the NFL, he's going to get blasted by. It wasn't the problem. Clearly, if you looked clearly at the film, it wasn't Josh Rosen's fault. He has 3 seconds to throw the goddamn ball, not even. Once he says hike, it's not his fault. All this shit that you were hearing from him, right? So why would you waste your number one pick for a guy that you don't need? Kyler Murray. It's going to be a mistake. You're going to finish worst. You're barely going to win a game. You got a coach now and a guy who couldn't win in the college level. So why are you going to do that also? All this shit, right? All this stuff. Let's explain why the Arizona Cardinals took a chance with Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. They were not going to get worse than what they did with Rosen. Rosen already, okay, just didn't have, you can see it wasn't going to fit. And if it wasn't for Kyler declaring for the NFL, Arizona would have been screwed even more, okay? There is no way Rosen would fit in with Cliff. It just wouldn't happen. You need somebody with speed. You need somebody that can move the ball around fast. Let's explain why the Arizona Cardinals took a chance with Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. They were not going to get worse than what they did with Rosen. Rosen already, okay, just didn't have, you can see it wasn't going to fit. And if it wasn't for Kyler declaring for the NFL, Arizona would have been screwed even more, okay? There is no way Rosen would fit with Cliff. It just wouldn't happen. You need somebody with speed. You need somebody that can move the ball around fast. Rosen is not for that, okay? So, let's keep going a little bit here, right? Let's keep trying to figure out why the Arizona Cardinals, after just one short year and not even giving a chance to Josh Rosen, they would draft Kyler Murray and just screw Rosen over, despite saying he's our guy. He's our guy. So, you guys remember that? Do you remember them saying, yeah, he's our guy? And how quickly did that change? Huh? How quickly did that change? When the GM said, this is what we're doing. This is who we're going with. We love him. Remember the video of him and the picture of him coming up? That's why I say yesterday when Steve said, hey, why are we going to hang our heads on what Kyler says and do all that stuff? Are you buying it? Are you buying what he says? Are you really buying what he says if after the year before that, the guy just told everybody flat out, Rosen is our guy? He don't need you to know. He don't want nobody to know what he's going to tell you. Of course he doesn't want you to know. Because if he's telling you he's going to draft CeeDee Lamb, for example, then what the fuck do you think the 49ers are going to do? They're going to plan better. We don't need them planning any better. Okay? Now, again, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead. Let's see what happened. Let's go fast forward to the year. Kyler Murray, we drafted him. The offensive line definitely didn't get better. We had a lot of injuries and all that stuff. Kyler Murray was sacked a shitload of times. Half the time, Kyler Murray definitely was his fault. Did he get out of sacks? Yes, but that's what he does. That's what Russell Wilson does, right? Who does not know how bad Russell Wilson's O-line is for a long time? Russell Wilson did pretty good with the Seattle Seahawks, right? There's a reason. And don't say they did. Russell Wilson has saved the Seattle Seahawks numerous amount of times. That guy is running for his life consistently. You definitely don't always need an offensive line amazing when you got a fast quarterback. That's the point. If you got somebody super fast, you can afford a little bit to have a little bit less. Not saying that you don't need to block for him, but you can afford to change up the offense a little bit. You want to surround them with different kind of players, really talented, that'll work with Murray. Quick guys in the slot. That's why I liked Bird last year. He was fast. He actually did pretty well. You want to surround these guys with fast. That's why I understand why they got Isabella, but it didn't work out. You always go with the better player, which was Metcalf, and they made a mistake there. They made the right move for Murray, but they didn't do that. Anyway, so the year happened, and Kyler Murray proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he belongs in the NFL and is going to be a superstar. Okay? If he stays healthy. Knock on wood. That's all I'm saying about Kyler Murray. Let's talk about Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury showed how great his offense can be because he was tricking the hell out of people. And Kyler missed a lot of throws in the red zone, missed a lot of plays, a lot of missed catches, just a lot of bad plays because Arizona could have capitalized on it. Keep remembering, they had San Francisco a few games, they had Seattle, they had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They played really well. They played the Saints well. They played really well up until the last thing. They even played the Ravens really well. Okay? So, and Christian Kirk played really well in some of these games, which is why I like him, but he scares me with staying healthy. He just does. Because if he gets hurt and Larry's in his mid-30s, then I'm a little bit more scared because somebody's really going to have to step up if we don't draft CeeDee Lamb, right? Besides DeAndre, of course. Anyway, everybody was saying that they weren't supposed to get those guys, but they did way better than they did with Steve and a horrible defensive coordinator that was a coach, right? He was just awful and way better than Rosen. Let's look at Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen went to the Miami Dolphins, right? Josh Rosen goes to the Miami Dolphins, and what happens? He can't even beat out Ryan Fitzpatrick for the job. What does that say? The Dolphins now are drafting a quarterback, despite having a young talent in Josh Rosen. But according to these stupid fans who continue to bash and say, what are you talking about? You don't need that, get better in different positions. No. When you see something, you want to be better for the future. Just because you have something that's good or could be really good, but it's not working, you don't do it. You just don't do it, period. When you brought in Cliff Kingsbury, you brought it in for a crazy offense, right? You didn't bring him in for his Bill Belichick or this defensive-minded schemes here. You brought him in because you want to have creative plays and have the players to fly all around. Sound good for the CeeDee Lamb? Doesn't it? Okay. So the reason I'm saying this whole thing and the reason I'm making this argument is because everybody's going back and forth about what's happening. So I thought I'd revisit how you didn't need Kyler Murray before you got Kyler Murray. But me was saying you need him desperately. Because I seen that Rosen wasn't the guy, right? I seen that it wasn't just the offensive line. It was not just the coach. It was all of them put together. So you needed to restart everything. Now, let's talk about some of the people who are saying they're going to get worse. Can they get this guy worse? Absolutely. He's a big guy. He's just going to get better, hopefully, and he can block downfield. Why wouldn't you want a huge monster on the right side of the right tackle to block the run? I would love it if we don't get Lamb. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit there and go, no. I'm going to be like, all right, you know what? I hope it works out. I would love to see it. But I'm putting all my money on hoping they get Lamb for the reason here we're going to go now. San Francisco 49ers. Why are they going out and want CeeDee Lamb? Why do they want him so bad? Right? They have a guy in Samuel who's a beast. They have a guy in Kittle who's a beast. Right? They can score with their running backs at will. So why do they need that? Why do they need another scorer? Because they are not stupid, right? Their defense is awesome. They just want to get better at the offense even more, right? They just want another playmaker. You want to have Samuel who's crazy after the catch, and then you want to have CeeDee Lamb who's crazy after the catch, and you want to have fucking George Kittle who's crazy after the catch. You remember that? You remember the play against the Saints? That was a big game, huh? You remember this? How the having guys after the catch is fucking amazing. That's why they want all three of those guys together and a running back. They're not sitting there saying, wow, we got a couple of really good players that can catch. We don't need that. Of course you need that. Because Kittle can get hurt, right? In a second. Samuel's probably going to be the top receiver at that point, and he maybe is not going to be able to be a number one. So you're not going to be able to be sure. So you want to add more players. Some people say there's only one ball. Yeah, sure. So split it. 5, 4, 6, 5, whatever you want to say. You know, split it into how many different catches? Depending on the game, depending on the matchups. Right? What happens if the Arizona Cardinals are sitting there and Drake is getting shut down on the run? And DeAndre Hopkins got a great cornerback on them when they're playing San Fran. All right, let's get somebody to the other side. Larry will be up the middle. CeeDee will be on the right side. Kirk will be the fourth receiver. I would love to see Kirk as a number 4. I'll tell you that much. I would love that. And if one of them go down, one of our rookies step up. Right? We have a great rookie in Keyshawn Johnson last year, so he can step up. Then you can get Isabella in there too. Start working these guys in and give Larry a little bit of a breather, because that poor guy has been literally carrying the Arizona Cardinals on his back for the last God knows how many years. Make sense? So, the San Francisco 49ers are not stupid. The Miami Dolphins are not stupid. Yes, when you have players, that's right, I understand. But sometimes there is better players and more opportunity. Okay? The only reason I wanted to revisit Kyler Murray today was just for the fact that Kyler Murray, to me, saved the Arizona Cardinals. Okay? He saved the Arizona Cardinals, and so did Cliff Kingsbury with his exciting offense. And you need players that can fit in that. You need players that can fit there. So if again, the last thing I'll say is, if we get worse or we get an offensive lineman, great. Let's hope after DeAndre that somebody steps up. Let's hope it's Kirk. Let's hope it's Keyshawn Johnson. Let's hope it's Butler comes back healthy, and Isabella. Let's hope it's one of those guys that really steps up. Because I'll tell you this much: we're going to need it if the Arizona Cardinals are playing the San Francisco 49ers to beat them for that division title. Everybody said, when are we going to have the 8th pick again? When? When is the Arizona Cardinals going to have the 8th pick? Who knows? Who knows when that talent will be around? When the talent can take it, just like Kyler Murray, they couldn't miss out on Kyler Murray, because you don't know when these talents are going to come up again, or when you're ever going to get this shot again. Right? Boy, for an offensive lineman, just boggles my mind. Talk to you tomorrow.